Children, today we are going to do the poem written by Walt Whitman, that is Animals. And here, Aditya, will you read this slide?
Yes. Walt Whitman is a major figure in American poetry. He was a non-conformist man in all respects, including his social life. As a fact, in an age when all poetry was rhymed and metrical, Whitman made a break with tradition and wrote a revolutionary new kind of poetry in free verse.
Okay, so this is actually Whitman, not Whiteman. So he is a non-conformist. That means he did not believe many of the things of the church. So he broke from the church, and his poetry was a different kind of poetry because it at that time people had rhyming scheme, metrical, but Whitman wrote poem in free verse. Yes, Rupendra, read this, beta. Rupendra.
Yes, ma'am. In this poem, the writer expresses his feelings about animals. Writer, being an animal lover, compares his life at home with animal and that with a human. He finds human to be more complicated and false, as against animals, which are, according to him, placid and self-contained. Animals do not dissatisfy their condition, nor do they have mania of owning things compared to the humans. No animal is unhappy over his miscondition. The writer in the end gives a sarcastic reference symbolically trying to say that animals remind him of his childhood things. Writer wonders these memories of childhood as token which he feels to have fallen by him long ago.
Okay, here we are told that the writer, the poet, is actually an animal lover, and he compares human beings with animals. And animals are placid and self-contained, meaning placid. What is the meaning of the word placid? Calm, composed, and self-contained, self-satisfied. So these animals, they are calm, they are composed, and they don't whine, they don't cry, they don't complain about their conditions. Neither do they have mania of owning things. That is, they are not mad, they don't run behind things, and they are not unhappy over their condition. The poet says that animals, they have their virtues, they have their good qualities, the tokens, whereas we human beings have shared our qualities as we grow up. So we start with the poem, I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. Can anybody tell me the figures of speech in this? I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. Figure of speech?
Anaphora.
A personification.
Okay, personification, live with animals, but so placid and self-contained. The qualities of human beings. But anaphora, where is anaphora, Alia?
Long and long.
Ma'am,
I think I could, the I is repeated. It's anaphora also, we can say it is assonance also, when you go on repeating the vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. Here we have I, assonance. Moreover, we have repetition also, long and long. And we can also go for with alliteration. Look, long, long, L, L, L. Okay. Here, see. Assonance, use of vowel sounds. I think, I live. Repetition, use of the word long. Anaphora, I used at the start of two consecutive lines. So, assonance and anaphora, same. Assonance is because there is vowel sound, and anaphora because the same letter I has been repeated in two lines. Okay. Alia, can you read these lines?
Yes, ma'am. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived 1,000 years ago. Not one is respectable and unhappy over the whole earth.
Okay, the first line you missed. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. Means they don't complain. Sweat here means complain. Whine is cry, grumbling, always about their condition. And as human beings do, they do not lie awake also and weeping for their sins that they've committed like human beings. Whenever we do anything wrong and if we realize our mistakes, we feel so bad, we go on crying. Animals do not even make the poet bored by discussing their duty to God. According to the poet, no animal is discontented. No one is dissatisfied. They are all contented. They're self-satisfied. And not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Demented. What is the meaning of the word demented? Demented means insane, mad. When you want to own this and that, you want to just, you're so greedy and you want more and more and more. That is known as madness. Mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind. Same species that lived 1,000 years ago. They don't kneel in front of others. They consider everybody equal. Not one is superior. Not one is respectable and unhappy over the world. They don't show their respect. They don't bow down in front of others. They are all equal. So they are all living happily together. And neither they are unhappy over the whole world. So here we see use of the repeated words at the beginning of the two or more lines, use of they do not, they do not. They do not, they do not. In first line also, they do not. So that was anaphora. Then metaphor, because we are comparing that, but here we will take the personification because we are comparing their qualities of that as human beings. Yes, Rupendra, can you read this?
Okay, ma'am. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they get these tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligibly drop them?
So the poet says that animals show that they belong to the poet. They show their relation to me and I accept them. And the poet accepts the animals as his own. Animals remind the poet of his original characteristics, which animals still retain. The animals still have their tokens, their virtues, the good qualities, whereas we human beings, we go on dropping them. As time passes by, we go on dropping our good qualities. Thank you, children.